Welcome to the second installment of the ADTRAN NetVanta UC feature presentation webinar series. The focus of this presentation is personal call control. In the last presentation, we covered productivity tools like unified messaging, click-to-dial capabilities, the built-in fax server. All of these contribute to an increase in productivity, not only for end users, but also for the administrators of the system. What we didn't cover is the call control options that are available for users in the system to control what happens when they don't answer a call to their extension and the types of notifications they can receive when they get new messages in their mailbox. To accomplish this, we've provided two different answering modes for users in a NetVanta UC system. The standard mode is called Personal Assistant. This is a very feature-rich feature set for every user in the system, regardless of the type of licenses that you purchase for your NetVanta UC system. Users have the ability to modify pre-canned options to control the calls that come to their extension, as well as to control the types of notifications they get when somebody leaves them a voice or a fax message. On the other side, we have an advanced user mode, which we call Personal Business Assistant. The Personal Business Assistant mode provides nearly infinite granularity of control over what happens when a user doesn't answer a call to their extension. And this is by way of using our drag and drop service creation environment so that users can effectively create their own personal auto attendants. So I'm just going to flip over to the user interface here and show you first what the Personal Assistant experience looks like. So when a user has the UC client software on their desktop and they open it up, this is the first thing that they'll be shown as a personal assistant user. The greeting management can be done over the telephone using DTMF tones and navigating menus, but this friendly user interface allows users to control and create greetings in a much easier way and to be able to create as many greetings as they'd like. And to do so, I would simply create a new greeting, give it a name, my greeting, for example, choose whether or not I want to record this audio using my speakers and my microphone or my handset. In this case, I'll use my computer speakers or my computer microphone, and I'll record some audio. Hi, you've reached Dave. I'm not here right now. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for calling. It's as simple as that. Once that greeting is recorded, I simply assign it to my external greeting, and now everybody who calls me from outside the organization and from inside will hear this greeting that I just recorded. If I'm going to leave the office for an extended period of time, I can create an out-of-office greeting which will trump the other ones and make sure that the caller hears the full greeting. They can't skip through it. This way they won't assume that you're just not returning their call because you don't want to talk to them anymore. The other option here for personal assistant users is called one-time messages. A one-time message is a specific message or special message for a specific contact that's played once and then deleted from the system. And this message would be presented to the caller if they called you and you didn't answer your extension, and we did a number match based on a contact in your address book. So for example, Becky being one of my most important contacts, I might need to be leaving her a message. Becky, I tried to leave you a voicemail, but your mailbox was full. We're on for that meeting tomorrow, so let's just meet up at 11 a.m. like we discussed. When Becky calls me at my extension, she's going to hear that message first before she's sent to my voicemail. And that way she'll know that I'm trying to leave her a specific message when I'm unable to receive her phone call myself. Active message delivery provides users the ability to have their messages delivered to them by telephone. So if I, as a user of the system, turn this option on and say put in my cell phone number here, anytime somebody leaves me a voice or fax message, the system will dial out to my phone. When I answer it, it'll ask me to put in my mailbox password, and then will allow me to manage my mailbox as though I were in the office listening to messages, deleting messages, and so on. Choosing new messages will have the system play only the new messages, and then will disconnect the call. If I get a lot of voice and fax messages, this may be a little overwhelming, so I'm only going to turn this on for specific people. Becky being one of my most important contacts, so that if she leaves me a voicemail, the system will call me and let me know and play me that message, whether it's a voice or a fax message. Additionally, I might only want this enabled for a time of day or for day of the week. So, for example, if Becky calls me on Saturday and Sunday, then I will be sure to get that correspondence. If she's calling me on a weekend, it's probably really important, so I want the system to call me and play me those new messages. I can turn on transfer calls, which means that when somebody calls my extension and I don't answer, the system will automatically blindly transfer them to the number that I've entered here. Should I want to provide the ability to still control the messaging portion of that call leg? In other words, make sure that that message that they leave me is left in my corporate mailbox. Then I can turn on assisted transfer. And this is like a find me, follow me capability where the system will put the caller on hold, place a call to me, and tell me that I have a call, reading out the caller ID or the name from the contact address book if you have text to speech. Additionally, I can use this as a sort of a call screening capabilities where I'm always prompting callers to record their name prior to being put on hold, or only prompting callers that I don't know, those that aren't matched as a successful match in my contact address book. And this is great for if you are getting lots of phone calls, lots of voicemail, and you need to do some rudimentary call screening, but only for those people who you don't recognize. And then I might want to turn this on for specific callers only. So only have the system transfer the call automatically to my cell phone if Becky or Kim calls me and I don't answer my call at my extension. And of course, the same options for time of day and day of week apply here. For those organizations that still use pagers, you can be notified to your pager when you get a new voice or a fax message, again filtering by specific callers and time of day. Or using email notification options. An email notification means that when you get a new voice or fax and you turn this on, the system will send a copy of the message to an alternate email address. Notification means only send all the details of the message and not the attachment itself. And the short notification is especially useful for those users that have SMS phones that still want notifications to their cell phone. We can use the cellular email gateways provided by the carriers to translate that email to an SMS and send it to your cell phone. Again, being able to filter it by specific callers and time of day. Now, although these features, this functionality that we've presented from a personal assistant perspective, generally meets the needs of most users in an organization, there are other users that need more granularity of control over their calls. They need to be able to get more granular and treat different contexts differently and have different nested levels of functionality for different people and for different circumstances. This is the personal business assistant mode. So I'm just going to switch over to another user account that I have access to with my Windows authentication. Becky here is a personal business assistant user. And you'll notice that in her user interface, the options that are under the assistant, although she has greeting management one-time messages, the rest of the assistant options are gone. So how is this mode more powerful than the personal assistant? What it's been replaced with is what's called a service, or the service creation environment. As a personal business assistant user, I can create services, a same service for all my extensions or a different service for each extension that does something special based on when somebody calls that extension and I don't answer that call. And to edit a service, I simply double click to open it up and it presents me with a service editor where I can start creating this call flow personal auto attendant with a drag and drop interface. So for example, as a personal business assistant user, I might want to first check who's calling and do something special for those callers. So as I said, Becky, when she's one of my most important contacts, and so is Kim, when these two lovely ladies call my extension, I need to be sure that I'm notified immediately. In other words, I want to have the system put them on hold and immediately transfer them to my cell phone so that they can get a hold of me no matter where I am. I am never going to prompt the system to record their name because I know who they are already. Now, I may be too busy to take that call. I might be in a meeting. I might not be in a place where I can field their call. So I'm going to have something happen when I deny that call, when I press 2 to reject the call when I get it to my cell phone. I'm going to play them a special announcement that says, look, your business is very important to me. I'm unable to take your call right now because I'm in a meeting. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And so I'll throw my voicemail element on here and they'll be sent to my voicemail where I can take a message and have it left in my mailbox. Now, this is only dealing with Becky and Kim. What about the rest of my contacts? Well, for everybody else, I might want to just provide them with the menu. Hello, this is Dave. I'm unable to take your call. Please press 1 if you'd like to have the system reach me on my cell phone. Press 2 if you'd like to leave me a voicemail. Press 3 if you'd like to transfer to the operator, and so on. So you can start building out a pretty sophisticated service in a matter of a few minutes. The only thing remaining to do is recording some audio, which again you can do inline by clicking the record button, giving it a name, and then what it does is it brings up this announcement editor where you can use the computer speak microphone or handset to record audio and do some rudimentary editing on that audio prior to closing and saving it. Once this service is created, to apply it to my extension, it's as simple as going into the identity pane on the bottom left and selecting my PBA. And so now when somebody calls Becky, for example, at extension 203, that service will execute. Now this functionality, this might be a little bit daunting for some users to be able to do themselves. Administrators can create templated services or create specific services for users doing exactly the way that I did, or by placing them in the shared folder. And the shared folder is a place where users can assign a service to their extension, but these services are uneditable unless they're copied into my own folder. So switching back to the presentation, I'm just going to recap on some of the benefits that are gained from using personal call control, whether it's a personal assistant or personal business assistant. Obviously, one of the biggest benefits is productivity. You can communicate more effectively and more efficiently. You don't have to spend as much time catching up with all your different devices and checking messages on your cell phone and checking messages on your corporate mailbox. Everything is consolidated and accessible in the same place. You can make your own changes as you need them. You don't have to rely on an administrator to do it for you. You can regain control over the how, the where, and the when. You don't have to miss those important calls. You can send unimportant calls to voicemail and do some call screening. Use a single telephone number for all your correspondence. No longer will you have to give out your cell phone number and your work number. You can have it a single point of contact so people can always call the same number to get a hold of you. And also treat your most important customers and partners and contacts with that special touch, those who mean most to your business. You have the ability to make sure that they can always get a hold of you, and then they feel like they're valued to you as a customer or as a partner. And that concludes the presentation. Thanks for watching, and look for more of these videos and for more information on adtran.com/UC.